We are live. We are live to a very special edition of Peek Around the Country live show number 1. We're only going to talk college football for just a moment in the monologue. I'm very humbled that 39 of you have started watching this live show. 39 of you. And I don't blame you a bit if 30 of you left, because we're not talking college football tonight. And so I don't blame you. I'm very humbled that you started the live show with us tonight. But if you want to leave and go ahead and think this is not what you want to spend your time on, I can absolutely understand. And I don't know what YouTube is going to do. I've asked the question. People don't think that YouTube is going to do any damage to this channel, because YouTube does want you to stay in your lane, so to speak. But this is a message to YouTube. I'm declaring bankruptcy. No, I am declaring fair use. I am declaring a national emergency. I'm declaring my freedom as an American to talk about something that everybody's talking about. So whatever happens, happens. If we have to start again with another channel, we will do so. Talking about the game we love, college football. But tonight we're going to take it off to a different direction. As you know, I've often said on this show that 99.99% of this channel is college football. and the 0.00001% was the unidentifiable. In my bio, if you check on my X account, and I've had this up there for 8 years, the first thing you see is the unidentified Flugarian object. It doesn't mean I believe in aliens. It doesn't mean I believe in the paranormal. It doesn't mean any of that. I'm a God-fearing man. I believe he created the heavens and the earth and the universe, everything above, everything below. But I've often been intrigued with things that we do not know. Things that are unidentified. In the air, in the ocean, in the universe. We don't know nothing. We think we know, but we don't know. We keep learning new things all the time. I am not very smart. I have all the proof in the world. Check my IQ score. Check my St. Cloud State University grades, although I did graduate in 1991. Check my high school grade. Check them all. I am not very smart. But I have an insatiable curiosity. It is why at Peek Around the Corner we've been pretty successful, in my opinion, maybe nobody else, in my opinion, on giving you the most accurate peek in college football. For a YouTube channel, for the Fat Guy Minnesota, for Mr. Nobody, I think our record is incredibly, I think we're good. Because of our curiosity. This story that is going on in this country, in this world, about these drones, none of it makes sense to me. None of it. Zilch. Now, I know you probably got your theories. And some of you probably really truly believe you know what this is. And I wish I was in your shoes. I wish I could be certain. But none of it makes sense. None of it. Every rabbit hole, you know I go down rabbit holes here at Peek Around the Corner. Every rabbit hole of this story does not make logical sense. To me. And that is why we are holding our very first emergency Peek Around the Corner meeting. And this one is on drones. Now, maybe a year from now, it's going to be an emergency Peek Around the Corner meeting on a new virus or some emergency meeting that we can't even think about. And again, this show is going to be herky-jerky because obviously I've never done a show like this. And once again, who knows what's going to happen to this YouTube channel? Who knows? You all may unsubscribe tonight. A whole bunch of bad things could happen. But I still felt like in my heart I wanted to do this because I think a lot of you want to speak your mind. We're going to open up the phone lines. And we're going to hear your answers, your questions. You're going to ask me my opinion and I'm going to say I have no idea. But there are a few things that I do have a strong opinion on. One, the idea that everybody in New Jersey is looking up at the sky, and all of these crafts are airplanes or helicopters, is absolutely ridiculous. That ain't right. We know that's not right. We know that's not accurate. Now, maybe 90% of them are. Maybe 95% of them are. Maybe a whole bunch of them are crafts, helicopters, drones that the United States is sending up to investigate the unidentified drones that are up there. But come on. Not all of them are planes. Not all of them are helicopters. We know that. We absolutely know that. The New Jersey police in Warren County sent out a statement today, basically saying, no, we know these are unidentified drones that should not be hovering over our people in our county. We know that some of these are big in size. If they drop out of the sky, can do a lot of damage, can hurt a lot of people. See, the police, the local police, are not buying what the national government is telling them. They're not buying it. By the way, this is an accurate Warren County Police Chiefs Association letter. This has been authenticated. This has been authenticated. This has also been authenticated. The New Jersey Division of Fire Safety. This is not made up. This is real. The Intelligence Bulletin. These are the safety recommendations to New Jersey fire departments and everybody else that just was put out again. Downed or landed drones should not be approached. Fire service members should utilize full PPE. Notify local enforcement. Request the NJSP Hazardous Materials Response Unit and local hazmat team. Hazardous Materials Response Team should approach the incidents in an unknown and follow established environmental monitoring procedures as such to include radiation monitoring. Request the nearest bomb squad. Go read it yourself. Go read it yourself. This has been authenticated. Thank you, Carrie Gold Knowles, once again for your incredible generosity, helping us keep the lights on here at Peek Around the Corner. Although this is a different show, a lot of people are going to turn their heads and say, Greg, your cheese have completely slipped off your cracker. And I do completely understand. Hopefully you all stick by with us as we talk college football tomorrow and through the weekend and through next week. Thank you for your super chat, Carrie Gold Knowles. Thank you so very much. Greg, you're an evil gopher for clipping your reaction to the Wisconsin schedule release and creating a short. I thank you for the super chat, Ryan Willie. I am an evil gopher, no question about it. I thought it was pretty funny. Thank you so much, Ryan Willie, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Just get Mendoza, get that quarterback from California, get Mr. Fernando Mendoza, and you're going to have the last laugh back at me, Mr. Ryan Willie. So here is, here's a couple other Here is the joint NHS FBI statement on reports of drones in New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. The FBI, the DHS, and our federal partners, in close coordination with the New Jersey State Police, continue to deploy personnel and technology to investigate this situation and confirm whether the reported drone flights are actually drones or instead manned aircraft or otherwise inaccurate sightings. I'm not going to try to go nuclear here, okay? But that last part is completely, in my opinion, absolutely BS. I'm going to continue this, but before you make the conclusion, I ask you, before you make the conclusion that none of these are drones, none of these are unidentified drones, and none of these are a threat to the United States of America and our people, boy, oh boy, oh boy, the message coming out of all these levels of government is not consistent. Not at all. This did not age well at all. So please give me a moment. Let me read the rest of this, and then we got more to show you. Historically, we have experienced cases of mistaken identity. Of course. Where reported drones are in fact manned aircraft or facilities. Absolutely. People are making mistakes all the time. All the time. We are supporting local law enforcement in New Jersey with numerous detection methods, but have not corroborated any of the reported visual sightings with electronic. You have police on the ground saying that these are drones. You had a police helicopter flying over a drone and then felt unease and flew away from it because he felt he was in danger. He looked down and there was a big old drone underneath them. That was reported at the New Jersey meeting, what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago, when they invited all the mayors? Of course some of these are drones. In fact, we're going to get to it in a moment. There was a report from the United States military, there was unidentified drones flying over an military installation in Germany today. They've been over Langley in December of 2023. They've been over a Navy ships in 2019. Unidentified. This whole game of semantics. Maybe they're not, none of them are drones, none of them are, come on. In fact, I'm going to get that off my screen. That is an insult. That is an absolute insult to us. There is more. Hold on. You cannot say in one breath that none of these are drones. Okay? Hold on. Let me get back. I apologize. It's going to be herky-jerky. We are going to open up the phone lines. This show is mostly going to be about the phone line. This show is mostly going to be about the phone line. I want to hear what you guys got to say because a lot of you are going to be very knowledgeable on this stuff. And then they're probably going to be, keep your head on a swivel because there's probably going to be live reports going on during this live show about stuff happening in New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, who knows. So keep your head on a swivel and report it in the chat room. Again, unidentified drones sighted over Air Base in Germany. Spiegel reports. That was today. Unidentified drones have been sighted over sensitive industry locations and the United States Ramstead Air Base in Germany in recent weeks, citing a confidential report by German security authorities. It goes on and on and on and on. And then pilots are reporting mysterious lights in the skies, moving at extreme speeds in Oregon. Say they're moving up and down quickly at different altitudes. One pilot says he saw colorful lights all at different altitudes, with one over 50,000 feet. The lights are zipping towards us and back out towards the ocean, red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe it, the pilot said. The biggest thing that stood out was it was changing direction. Usually things don't change direction unless it's an aircraft.
It's a light
red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast it's moving.
You are cleared to maneuver as necessary, left and right, to avoid the UFO out there.
This is Joe communicating with air traffic control while he was piloting that live flight call to the North Bend, Coos Bay area. And the UFO in question, if you look closely on your screen, that little red dot that floats in and out of the video.
That was the one that was at our altitude that would come up to us and sit for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then it would go back out over the ocean, over the horizon.
He and his crew witnessed this mysterious object continue this odd behavior for more than 20 miles away for about 20 minutes total. This came after a United Airlines flight reported seeing similar mysterious objects zipping through the sky, ranging between 30,000 and 50,000 feet in altitude.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets. You know, they're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy.
One researcher suggests it's a light bouncing off a Starlink satellite over the Pacific Ocean, catching the eye of pilots, something that's reportedly happened before. But Joe says this ain't that.
I don't think Starlink, like I said, satellites don't typically change directions. But then again, I could be wrong, but I honestly don't think it was. I've never seen a satellite move like that.
I reached out to the Federal Aviation Administration to see if they can confirm this UFO sighting. They kept it short and sweet, saying a pilot saw unidentified lights. The good news is it's not believed Joe or his crew were in any danger as they continued to fly down to Coos Bay and back up to their station in Aurora. But the mysterious object popped up on his traffic collision avoidance system. He says that's not something that a light reflection can do.
TCAS works off a transponder code. So for something to register, it was registering like an aircraft. So the weird thing is we were seeing it as an aircraft inside the aircraft, but ATC wasn't showing it on their radar.
Whatever it was, Joe and many others hope they can get clear answers. Reporting in Eugene, I'm Aaron Ariano.
People want clear answers. Now, a lot of people have this belief, and maybe they are correct, that this is a military exercise. Even though the Pentagon just said 2 days ago in a briefing that we have no evidence that these are at our adversaries' drones, and they are not our military drones. But maybe the Pentagon is playing a game of semantics. Maybe these are some sort of special third-party company testing out the new top-grade drones that the military may buy from them. Or maybe they are Space Force doing an exercise. I remember back in 2004, Colonel Favor, the guy who saw the Tic Tac, who went after the Tic Tac, when he was questioned about, do you think this was a new breakthrough technology of the United States, and they were just testing your reaction, your whole naval fleet reaction? Remember Colonel Favor? He was like the top fighter pilot of the whole Navy, of the whole that whole Navy ship that was out there. I forget the name of it. And he said, absolutely not. Anytime we do an exercise against each other, which we're doing all the time, everybody knows. Everybody knows, because we don't want to risk life, property damage. We are controlling $1 million airplanes and these ships and our lives. And no, we are not. When we are doing an exercise, even using new technology, everybody knows. So to think that we have been possibly flying these vehicles and the local police don't know it, the FBI don't know it, they were just in front of a congressional hearing, and the FBI guy is throwing up his hands and saying, I don't know. I don't know where these are coming from. We have got people trying to reportedly cannot figure out where these drones are taken off from and where they are landing. The exact same thing happened in 2019. That naval exercise that we were doing thousands of miles off the ocean, off the San Diego, in the middle of the ocean. There were hundreds of drones flying over naval ships, and supposedly, and I cannot authenticate this, but supposedly we tried 5 different ways of bringing these drones down, and all of them failed. There was a big story. I put it up on my X account, the debrief. A military website broke the story. They broke it in 2022. It happened in 2019. These big, bright, shining, bright drones out there in the ocean, hovering over our naval ships for hours. Where did they, and then we could not track where they came from. We could not track where they landed. These naval ships have 360-degree radars that go for miles, hundreds of miles. They can spot a beach ball in the air coming after, floating towards them in the ocean. And yet they could not track where these drones are going. Everybody says, look, we're going to get to your phone calls. We're going to get to your phone calls in a minute. Let me show you something else. The local police in New Jersey, they're not being told nothing. They don't know anything, right? They don't know anything. Here is Senator Kristen Gillibrand from New York.
House Speaker Johnson and Senate staff as well are getting briefed today about those mysterious SUV-sized drones spotted in the skies over New Jersey. More drones were reportedly spotted over warships off the West Coast, over nuclear sites across the West, even over the CIA in Langley, Virginia. An official with the White House National Security Council saying there's no evidence the drones are a national security threat or are linked to a foreign government. Joining us now is Democratic New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who serves on the Intelligence Committee. I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls from constituents as well in New York, but this is an issue for the Intelligence Committee. You've asked the FBI and the Homeland Security Department to brief Congress. What do we know so far? What do you know about the drones that you can share?
Well, Andrea, we know very little about these drones, which is the problem. We don't know.
Kristen Gillibrand, we don't know anything about these drones. We know very little about these drones. Think about that. She's the senator of frickin' New York, the state of New York. The state of New York, and she don't know. The governor of New Jersey, Murphy, doesn't know. They're not getting any answers. If this is a U.S. on U.S. military exercise, they all should be fired who's doing this exercise. There is money being spent to try to figure out what is going on. You got the FBI, you've got helicopters being put into the airspace above New Jersey homes. What if one of those helicopters go down and there's a death? What if there's a catastrophe? What if somebody dies because of these drills? Nobody's telling Senator Kristen Gillibrand, the governors, the police, fire. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Know who is sending them, who's controlling them, whether they are spying, whether they are sighting targets for future action. We have no idea the purpose of these drones, who's controlling them, and whether they are putting the American people at risk.
Okay, so Senator Gillibrand, we don't know who's sending them. We don't know who's controlling them. We don't know if they are doing spying on us. We don't know. I mean, and I'm going to put words in our mouth here. We don't know if they could attach a payload later on and fly one of these right into our installations. I mean, if we can't stop them, if we can't bring them down, if it's good enough just to flash a green and red and white light, and that somehow makes it so they're not dangerous, we can just fly them right into our installations, into our buildings, into our White House, into our Congress, into our Capitol. And then you got Gillibrand saying, we don't know, we don't know anything. But then the day before, you've got Kirby at the Pentagon saying they pose no threat. Of course they do. Of course they do.
The Pentagon has denied a claim made by a Republican New Jersey congressman that, quote, an Iranian mothership is behind these drones. That does seem a little far-fetched. Does it ease your concerns that they say that there's nothing to that?
Well, I wouldn't say that either, Andrea. We've had drone incursions over Langley for 2 weeks in a row and did not see them coming, did not know where they were.
So, what's her name? Andrea, I forget what her name is. Andrea, whatever that lady is. She kind of mocking the idea that it's an Iranian mothership off the coast sending in a bunch of drones. You know what? The chances of that being accurate is probably 0.00001%. Right? It's probably not an Iranian mothership sending out a bunch of drones. But did you see how Senator Gillibrand of the other party, did you see how she responded to that? She, we don't know. We don't know. We know nothing. Nothing. Senator, she just said it. You look at Gillibrand's face. We're going to play that again. Play that again. We don't know anything.
There's nothing to that.
Well, I wouldn't say that either, Andrew.
There's nothing to that.
Does it ease your concerns that they say that there's nothing to that?
Well, I wouldn't say that either, Andrea. We've had drone incursions over Langley for 2 weeks in a row and did not see them coming, did not know where they were from and who was operating them. They're using technology in some of these instances that are unfamiliar. The size of these drones are unusual. It's a size that is not commercially available, or at least readily commercially available. So there's a lot of questions about these UAS. It's important that we look at the laws, because right now some of them are flying over airspace above homes, above schools, above communities, and there's no direct law that denies them to do that. So we need to look at our laws. We need to reform them. We should be able to know their purview, who's controlling them at all times. If it's a foreign adversary flying over places throughout the United States, is illegal. It is something that we can do something about. I'm working with Senator Cotton right now on legislation that when these drone incursions take place over military bases or nuclear sites or sensitive areas, that the DoD will have the authority to take them down. My letter to the FAA and to Homeland Security and to the FBI is asking, what are you doing? Are you going to follow the drones to find out where they're coming from? If there are ships off the coast that are launching these drones, we need to know who is controlling those ships, whether they're foreign adversaries. We know, Andrea, that Iran, that China, that Russia have extremely sophisticated drone capabilities. We've seen drones used as a weapon of war in Ukraine. And so these are the reasons why I have high concerns and am quite dissatisfied by the response by Homeland Security, FBI, and FAA to my request that we need to have answers. They need to know where these drones are coming from. And we cannot simply say, well, they're not causing any harm. Well, do we know that? What are they doing? And who's sending them?
Well, now you have given me a lot of information here. So I should roll back my skepticism about that.
Yeah.
But do you really think that there could be an Iranian mothership that close off the coast of the U.S., the Atlantic coast, let's say, to launch something
there's
that would go over Langley?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's reason to believe that drone incursions that have happened over many months, over the last few years, at different places in the United States, could have been launched from ships. Particularly if you look at the drone incursions we've seen in Virginia, the drone incursions at Langley, the drone incursions around places that are easy.
I'm sorry to keep interrupting, and we are going to get to your phone calls. But this is the reason why we're doing this show tonight. Plus, you know, while we are doing the show tonight, there's going to be other stuff going on. So again, keep your head on a swivel. When we get out of this video, I'll check your comments in the chat room, and we'll try to cover some of this stuff live. But there's reason to believe, Senator Gillibrand, there's reason to believe that some of these drones have been sent off as ships from our adversaries over sensitive installations. There's reason to believe. We can't quite follow. We can't quite see them coming in. We can't quite see them going out. Hey, you know what you do? You know what you do? You shoot one of these suckers down. You shoot one of them down. You take it down. And you try to take it down. You do the best you can to take one of these down without killing innocent civilians. But you've got to take one down. You got to look at this drone. You got to be able to figure out, if you get one down, you can figure out how to get a bunch of them down. You can figure out where these are coming from. How in the world could this be going on and you haven't taken one of these down? Unless you can't. And if you can't take one of these down, we just spent $866 billion on the national defense of this country, and we can't take one of these drones down by Russia, China, or Iran? We got to change the laws. We don't. It shouldn't have to take a law. Shoot one of them down. My God, they're flying over Langley. You're moving your jet. You're moving your most sophisticated jets out of Langley because you're scared that one of these drones are going to take out a row of your jets because you can't take one of these down, or you're not allowed to shoot one of them down. And people are wondering why the American people are pissed. They're going outside, they're looking in the air, and of course they're misidentifying. Because you've led people to do this. Because you're not even telling Senator Gillibrand the truth. Senator Mark Warren, you never told Mark Rubio the truth. You're not telling any of these people the truth. Or you have absolutely no idea what's going on above you.
Easily accessible by sea. They need to be launched from somewhere. And so if it's a foreign adversary, a ship might be a very convenient place to launch a drone from. That's why you have to look at these questions. We don't have any evidence of a specific Iranian ship. The DoD has said they don't have any evidence of a specific Iranian ship, but we don't have any evidence that they didn't come from a ship. And then we don't know who's building them and who's flying in them, and we don't know their purpose. So as someone who sits on the Intelligence Committee and Armed Services Committee, that causes me grave concern, because as we know with the Chinese spy balloon, our adversaries have been using our airspace, the lack of regulation in these airspaces, to gather intelligence against us. And because we know that is true, we have to therefore look at any of these drone incursions and ask the simple questions: whose are they and why are they there?
Are you assuming that they are unmanned, or do you think it's possible that they could even be manned drones?
These are, I believe, are unmanned. It seems to be unmanned, although the size is unusual. And the size
That's why I'm asking.
The size reported of the drones over Langley were also quite large. But they are being identified as drones, as unmanned aerial systems. So we still believe they're unmanned. But as you know, because you cover war, the drones used in Ukraine have been able to deliver lethal munitions. They're used as a weapon. They're used in many contexts. And they certainly can be used as spycraft, where they gather intelligence, getting signals intelligence, getting reception from cell phone, other digital communications. We know this is feasible, and with the size of the drone, they could carry any payload they wanted to carry, any kind of weapon they would need to carry. So these are questions we should be asking. We should not be looking at these in the way we would look at a kite or a balloon. These are drones, unmanned aerial systems that have been used as weapons of war around the globe. We have adversaries who have high levels of sophistication in manufacturing of drones. We should be asking very serious questions.
Minus 120 odds it's Google mapping. If it's Google mapping, Google should be shut down. If it's Google mapping, the military, the people, the personnel who's allowing this to happen without communicating to local authorities, to senators, everybody should be fired. All of them. All of them should be fired. We fly stuff over adversaries all the time. This isn't news. You know what? I don't give a rat's about our adversaries. I care about the people in New Jersey, Connecticut, New York. If this was flying over your house every night, these SUV-size airborne vehicles, every single night, and your local police cannot get an answer, your local mayor cannot get an answer, your governor cannot get an answer, It's not fear. It's not fear. It's trying to get an answer. It's trying to get an answer. We should have domain over our airspace. We should be able to take care of an SUV-sized drone flying over Langley, by the way, for weeks. Think about it. I mean, this is a national security issue. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Let me open up the phone lines. Tell me how wrong I got it. Let me know what your thoughts. This is PATC. This is Peek Around Our Country live show number 1. And let me, and the drones that are flying in Afghanistan and in Russia, when Ukrainians are flying the drones into Russia and Russia is flying those drones into Ukraine, and they're mostly Iranian made, a lot of those are being shot down. A lot of those are being shot down. Eventually, they get shot down. Eventually, they fall from the sky. Right? And then they break up. You see the parts. You figure out how to bring them down the next time. Aliens. Ryan Thomas, Connie Stallion's got a job as a spy drone pilot. Thank you, Ryan Thomas, for your super chat. I appreciate it. I don't know. I don't remember it. I do know there has been some. I don't even remember that. Chad Bracey, the student of the University of Minnesota that was arrested for espionage for flying over Navy bases, and now this gopher. Greg, what do you think they are? I have no idea. None. I have no idea. I've got zero idea. Because, and I said at the beginning of the show, none of it makes sense logically to me. But I do think it's a big freaking deal. Of course it is. All they got to do is start putting payloads on those things. And what are we even, I mean, of course it's a big deal. And I'm not, I don't know what this is. None of it makes sense. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, and then some of the police are saying, we will fly our stuff to look at these drones, and then the drones have their lights turned off, and they disappear. These drones are being controlled all through their flight. In other words, they're not pre-programmed. These drones are not pre-programmed to fly to this point, to that point, and then come home and land wherever home is. These drones are evading other helicopters and drones that we're sending up. Is it some rich guy or some rich woman with incredible technology that is it non-human intelligence? Did China have a big breakthrough with technology? Are they intimidating the United States of America before they invade Taiwan? They went from Chinese spy balloon to these. Again, I can't buy it. The Chinese government is still spying on us. The Chinese Communist government is still spying on our jet engine technology because they're still behind us. And yet they figured out to create all these drones that we can't shoot down. I don't have an answer. Maybe it's got to be somebody. The only Bruce Wayne. The only argument I will make is a couple different arguments. One, they're not all planes. So Mick West, you and Mr. Debunker out there, they're all planes. Wrong. Obviously, you're wrong. It's ridiculous. They're not all planes, ladies and gentlemen. Some of those are drones, and they're unidentified drones. They flew over Langley in December. You don't think we can tell the difference between a drone and an airplane over Langley, Virginia? We don't think the Navy ships out the coast of San Diego, they couldn't identify the difference between 100 drones and Venus? Come on, guys. There are people you know what's happening tonight? There are people in New Jersey, former airmen, former helicopter guys, former jet fighter air pilots. There's Chris Lito, who's got a YouTube channel. There's all these people who've spent decades having to identify aircraft while they're flying their jet planes, where they're flying their Apache helicopters. Decades of experience. And they're looking up at the sky and they're saying, flight radar. Yeah, that's not a plane. And that's a big mother drone. And and somebody in a different state, 1,000 miles away, are saying, all these people are wrong. Everybody in New Jersey's wrong. Everybody in Connecticut's wrong. Everybody's wrong. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Flying milk trucks, preparing to bomb us with cheese. That'd be the worst case scenario, to be honest with you. Thank you, Ryan Thomas. And keep chopping. I'm not going to take a shot at. I don't want to get politics with this. I don't, because this has been going on. Yeah, I'm upset. No question about it. A lot of people are. And you can get upset. But this is a bipartisan. This happened before Biden. It's probably going to happen after Biden. This is not I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I am mad at, I'm not, these senators and congressmen, they've been having these meetings in Congress. They've been having skiffs. And the answer that they are given is, we don't know what the hell's going on. We don't have the answers. It doesn't seem like we have the answers. But what I don't want is, I don't want this well, there's no threat to us. I don't want mass hysteria, but I don't want, there's no threat. There's no threat to us. We have no evidence that it's our adversaries. It's just, that doesn't fly. Especially, again, when you are living in a neighborhood that's got SUV-sized drones flying over your house. And the question of, there you go, Belichick is already, they're not U.S. drones. Well, why should we believe they're U.S. drones? Whose U.S. drones? The Pentagon just told us they're not our military drones. Pentagon already told us they're not military drones. They just said that. Senator Gillibrand doesn't have, she's not being told what they are. Literally nobody is telling you, because they're telling you that they're no threat means they're us. What are you talking about? I mean, I appreciate the comment, but what are you talking about? Wait, I'm supposed to believe them. Wait. This is what I'm supposed to believe. We don't know where. This is the Pentagon, who told us they're no threat. They cannot tell us where they launch from. They can't tell us where they land. They can't tell us who controls them. But yet they can tell us that they're no threat. And they're telling us that it's not our military drones. Woo! Man, some of you guys are real trustworthy. I tell you. Okay, we're going to open up the phone lines right now. Let me know what you think. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. We are we'll track anything that is going live. Jamie, Arkansas Razorback. This was not a drone. This was not a drone. It was a small airplane that crashed. So that is not a drone. That one was not a drone. I know there has been other reports out there. New Jersey, the phone lines are open.
Call from
JD.
JD, hold on one moment. Just hold on one moment. There was some local reporting in New Jersey in where there was fire and police and who else knows, an hazmat unit. They were looking for a supposed down drone somewhere in New Jersey. That search was real. It happened today. People were looking for it. But I don't know. I don't believe they found anything. But they were acting. This was not like a drill. It was not a drill. New Jersey local media was talking about how there was a drone. They think a drone went, either shot down or landed or whatever, and they were looking for it. So it was real to the point where they believe maybe a drone came down, but nothing was found. JD, thanks for calling. The floor is yours.
I love this topic. I actually like UFOs and paranormal stuff. Not too much of a ghost person, but But if you started another show or a second segment of your podcast or your show on these types of issues, man, I'd love it. Especially because we get to call in. Yeah. You guys control. The rest of the show here. No question. I'm going to tell you this. I believe in UAPs, UFOs. I think some are ours, some are theirs. Who are they? That would be a point of a lot of different opinions. I don't, like some people, I don't think they're our friends at all. I don't think they have our best interests at heart. And anyway, but let's go, if you can bear with me, let's go through the process of elimination here. The Pentagon isn't mobilizing at the moment. So, and also through these hearings, these UAP hearings, and all the rest of this, politicians are being more vocal about the fact of the military-industrial complex holding secrets even from them. There's a lot that the defense contractors or the Pentagon, there's a top secret level that a lot of these politicians don't get to delve into or don't get read into. So I noticed that the Pentagon doesn't seem to be very alarmed. Okay, and these politicians, they're acting like, well, we don't know what they are. We don't know what they are. Well, they don't ever tell you anyway. So what's really different now than what it has been? I've heard some theories. One is it is foreign governments. I don't believe it's Iran. If it was Iran, we'd be shooting them down as they come on shore. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, I agree with you totally. If there is a mothership offshore and at night they deploy these drones and the Pentagon sitting on their hands.
JD,
yes,
I apologize. We have something new here.
Okay.
So I'm going to break in. I do apologize. We're going to be doing this, though. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you call, there is a chance that I have to break in. I do apologize, JD. You'll get the time back. You can say whatever you want to say, get as much time as you need. But this kind of goes inside with what you're saying. New Ocean County, New Jersey Sheriff, and I'm going to butcher the name, Mastronardi, confirms observation of 50 drones UAP coming ashore. Shortly thereafter, a U.S. Coast Guard vessel observes over a dozen objects at close range. Ocean County Sheriff drone unit watched as one object disappeared out of thin air. We're going to listen. This is a very short segment. Hold on.
One of their officers called 911 after seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
A sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat and they reported seeing 13 following their boat. And then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
You know, the Ocean County Sheriff, that drone unit, they have an industrial grade drone. They put it up. They were tracking one of these drones, Elizabeth, and they said this thing easily evaded them, disappeared out of thin air. So, you know, to me, it's if this is not our military, then it's even more scary, and we need answers, frankly. One of their officers called 9.
There it is. Could you hear that? JD?
I couldn't hear anything.
Huh?
I couldn't hear anything.
You couldn't hear anything?
Y'all on the phone, it wasn't.
Okay. All right. Could people in the chat room hear that? Give me a yes if you could hear it. A Y, yes, an N for a no. Give me a Y for a yes, N for a no if you could hear it. Yes, yes. Okay. I'm glad they could hear it. JD, I do apologize. Basically, 50 drones were spotted by the U.S. Coast Guard coming off the ocean. And one of the U.S. Coast Guard sent a drone up there. And this drone that they were trying to follow easily evaded them and disappeared. And anyways, basically, it's just more of the same. So a lot of people are starting to believe they're coming from the ocean off of some ship or more mystical than that, I guess. JD, I'm going to go ahead, sir. Keep going.
Well, you know, our military has a lot of weapons and a lot of top secret weapons. So if they were really that concerned I would assume, and I've heard other people say this, they would designate a no-fly zone. They have weapons that can spray a huge area. And if something, if it goes dark, the lights turn off, it doesn't matter. The amount of coverage, it's going to knock it out. And even if it evades radar and so on, I mean, you could just spray a rail gun through that area, and you're going to knock something down. Doesn't mean you're going to knock them all down, but you're going to knock something down. And we've got, they've got, I forgot the name of the weapon, but it's where you can send sound waves. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
There's
an
so
EMP
many
type of thing.
Anything so is some kind of a lower grade. They can knock it down if they wanted to. Now, so you'd say, okay, what's going on? Well, one is yes, a foreign adversary is trying to cause a little chaos, and the Pentagon's almost looking at it just like it's comical, or let's look at it politically. And this is always a possibility. The incoming administration is looking, and I'm not trying to get too political, but let's just throw this out there. The incoming administration is talking about gutting programs at the Pentagon. I mean, they are talking about not gutting national defense, but a lot of these dark projects and so on, they want transparency. And then there's a lot of people in charge that are no longer going to be in charge. Well, kind of coincidental that 30-some or within 30 to 40 days of a new administration taking over, now all of a sudden there's a national security controversy.
I appreciate that rabbit hole. I do. I mean, I want people, because I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea but I can't go with you on that, because this has been going on for a long time.
Oh, well,
you know what I'm saying? It happened in 2019. It happened in 2017. There's other ocean scenarios that happened before that. The big one that we all heard about was 2000. This has been going on.
I'm not talking about the Tic Tacs.
No, I'm not talking about the Tic Tacs either. I'm talking about there was a swarm of drones, they're calling them drones, over our U.S. Navy ships off the coast of San Diego, not just off, thousands of miles off. You know what? Hold on. I know I brought up this article because I was just trying to show everybody this is not a story that just started during this administration.
Well, but what I'm saying is the drones don't necessarily have to be the same actors in each scenario.
Sure, but look at this. Can you see your phone? I mean, can you look at the? Okay, video of mysterious drone swarm over Navy's most advanced. This is a debrief story. The swarm incident involving USS Zumwalt was just one of many similar events involving Navy ships off California in 2019. Okay? Look at all those bright colors. Whatever that thing was. April 2019. Off the waters off the coast of Southern California. And this happened day after day after day after day after day. And supposedly we couldn't do anything with these drones. So I do understand, we're inauguration, and maybe this is an inside type of government, whatever. But, again, it would not explain these other years heading up to this of drones that we seem not to be able to do anything with them. Go ahead, sir.
No, I mean, there's all of those could be separate incidents versus this. And again, we don't know for sure what this is. I'm skeptical of the timing, but I can't say that that's definitely what's going on. With these drones, they want to be seen. There's no other way about it. They want to be seen. So somebody's wanting to instigate chaos. Who is it? That's the answer. They're not attacking anybody. I saw the other night where there were people that had pictures of it looked like chasers and all the rest of that. Turns out that was an old photo from a night operation with a helicopter was shooting at a target or something. It was just an operation, a training exercise. So there's so many things that we don't know, but I think what we can definitively say is, and again, they want to be seen. So what's the purpose? They want to cause chaos. Who's wanting to cause the chaos? It's either a foreign adversary saying, hey, look, we can sneak up on you and you can't do anything about it. Or B, it's U.S. assets that are have a motive to concern the public. Well, what's the motive? And that's why I say, well, it could be this, it could be that. It could be a private group. It's not even associated with the government. I don't know. I do know that, I've heard some things in the last few days would suggest that Chinese buying up so much farmland around the country, it's not a coincidence. They're always buying it near nuclear or military bases or within close association of strategic points throughout the country. And then now we know they have so far surpassed us in drone technology. I mean, we have superior military technology, at least for a while, but they have surpassed us on drone technology. So the military or the ships that were encountered the drone, events or whatever offshore, I wouldn't doubt if that's the Chinese. I wouldn't have any doubt at all. But this, I don't know. They're not being covert at all.
No, they're not. JD, I appreciate the phone call. And you know what? If something happens during this live show and you want to call back, sir.
Sure. Like I said, I think it's going to be more chaos, but it's a nightly event. But I appreciate the topic. Now, if you ever want to get on Bigfoot, I got theories too on that too.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much.
Hey, have a great day. Thank you.
So if you just join us, we are taking the night off from college football, and we are discussing what pretty much everyone is discussing about these drones. Now, there's all different opinions on this. A lot of people think it's no big deal. A lot of people think it is a huge deal. A lot of people think it's us testing something against ourselves. If that's the case, boy, I'm going to be really upset because that's not how you do it. But, or adversaries. I mean, but then again, think about if you are an adversary and you're doing this. Okay, you've tested your drones. Okay, you've tested your drones over You've tested your drones over Langley. You've tested your drones over the UK. Remember the UK, that just happened. You've got drones flying over Germany right now. That's been reported today. Unidentified, unlawful drone activity over military bases in Germany. Okay, you've done all this testing. Why do you keep testing? Aren't you afraid that we're going to wise up and shoot one of these downs and then reverse engineer your drone? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Does it? What makes me think 100% it's not alien or military contractors? It's not just the U.S., it's happening around the world, but the common denominator, they're U.S. government properties or have military. This is just Elon Musk's secret toys. Boy, if that is the case, we should all be, look, there are people, we are spending money on this. The local governments in New Jersey are spending money on this. And they're risking property and to some degree they're risking their lives. They're sending people up. Not to mention what's gone on with their Navy ships, Langley, what happened at the UK. Why would they leave their lights on at night on the drones? Why would they? To blend in, maybe. To blend in.
Call from
Replica.
Replica, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
Thanks for taking my call. I have a question before I kind of go in on what I think is going on.
Got it.
Now we heard, I believe it was today, that these same drones are being seen in Germany. Is there any links? Has anybody even speculated that this is related to a specific country like a China or an Iran? Because I haven't heard that up to this point, where somebody who's an actual government official is linking this to another nation. Have you heard that?
Well, there's a congressman, and I don't know the name, I apologize, from New Jersey who said he had intel that was telling him that this was coming from some sort of mothership or a ship in the ocean or a ship out in the skies of some sort, and where these drones are coming from, and it's Iranian. And then when Andrea, what's her name? Andrea something another on MSNBC asked Senator Gillibrand about it. Gillibrand did not scoff it off. She said, I want, basically we just don't know. But we do have reasons to believe these drones are coming from the ocean. So it's got to be coming from a ship on the ocean. Why we can't find the ship, I have no idea. Why we haven't blown the ship out of the water, I have no idea. But go ahead, Replica. The floor is yours.
Okay. Now I have another question, and this is kind of related, but maybe not exactly. Have you heard of any plane crashings in your region of the country? Because I believe it was yesterday or the day before, there was a small plane crash in Victoria, Texas, that I saw online. And I was wondering, have you heard of any specific incidents regarding planes losing control in the air?
No, but I mean, a plane did crash in New Jersey yesterday. A small plane operated, an operated plane, small plane, did crash in the highway or some street in New Jersey. That did happen. It was not a drone. People thought it was a drone, but it was a manned airplane, small airplane.
Okay. I think the biggest concern is that they either are unable to trace the origins or they don't want to tell us. It has to be one or the other, because with the amount of money this country spends on military spending, the defense budget, and things of that nature, there's really no excuse for them to have not figured this out. This has been going on for weeks now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been going on for years, but yeah, in this sense,
Well, I'm talking about this recent wave.
yeah, in this recent wave in New Jersey, yes, and if you want to believe the politicians on both sides of the aisle, they have come out and publicly said, yeah, the latest thing we've been told is these airborne vehicles, we have not been able to find out exactly where they launch from or where they land. And that is unbelievably scary. If that continues to be the truth.
Well, one thing I know for sure is they better figure this out before Inauguration Day. That's next month, because the last thing we need to happen is for something to happen on Inauguration Day that could put people in danger, especially with the whole world watching. And
yeah.
I don't want to get like into like conspiracies, but this could be like a new faction that the public doesn't even know about yet. Like, I feel like if this was tied to a specific country, or if they could actually if they had a real lead where they had like intel that could link this to a specific country, like in Iran or China, I feel like that information would have been out there just based off of how they've covered these type of situations in the past. They've never been shy to point the fingers at countries we perceive to be a threat. So the fact that they aren't saying anything, either they know and they're not trying to incite panic, or they don't know and they don't want to come out and say that. Either way is concerning. But they have got to figure this out.
Yeah, I got to show you something here, guys. We got something new. We got a new video. Replica, can you hang on for a moment?
Go ahead.
Can you see on your phone or your TV or whatever device you're using?
I'm watching on my TV.
Okay, let me okay, hold on. I apologize. This whole thing was going to be herky-jerky. This happened tonight, an hour ago. Some idiot is shooting at one of these drones, or to believe to be a drone. And I'm going to show you the video here. Hold on, everybody. Okay, we're going to show that again. Can you hold on a little bit here, Replica?
Yep, I'm watching.
Okay, hold on. First of all, again, ridiculous for somebody to do that. Number one, where are those bullets going? They're going to land somewhere, right? Okay. Number two, this is going to happen more and more because we're not being told diddly bleep. Really, we're not. Our local leaders, our mayors, the police in New Jersey, And if this starts happening in some other parts of the country, in New Jersey, there's a whole bunch of hunters. If it happens over in Minnesota, holy smokes. The second half, from about middle to Minnesota and upward, everybody's got about 6 shotguns. You can't, again, this is going to happen. It's absolutely ridiculous. But again, this is going to happen. And this tells us, shooting through power lines, residential area, not Jersey's finest. Keep chopping. But keep chopping. I understand, you're a Rutgers guy, New Jersey guy, but this is going to happen everywhere. These drones, again, not an airplane. Not all of them are airplanes. Mick West, you moron. These drones are flying so low to the ground that people think they can take a shot at it and get to it. It's stupid. It's dumb. Of course, we don't recommend it. We're going to show it once again. This is one of the reasons why the government either has to do something or explain. They've got it. They cannot handle it the way they're handling it right now. We're going to show this once again. And then Replica, we're going to get back to you. I do apologize, sir. Thank you for your patience. All right, Replica, go ahead, sir. Let it rip.
Okay. I have 2 observations after watching that video. Number one, they absolutely have to get to the bottom of this, because that right there can't happen. You can't have civilians trying to take matters into their own hands, because like you said, number one, those bullets have to come down somewhere. And number two, we have this issue in Texas where civilians like to fire their guns in the air inadvertently, especially in the major cities. That's not what you want. You don't want that, because you don't want somebody calling the police saying, hey, people are shooting guns, XYZ is going on. They get to the scene, a misunderstanding happens, and somebody gets hurt. Like we've seen that several times in recent years. And I know specifically of an incident in San Antonio where a young woman, she must have been either like somewhere between like 18 to 25, but she was riding around in her car with her friends, like inadvertently firing her gun, and one of those bullets almost struck an 8-year-old and killed them.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, it missed him, and they were able to. He wasn't hurt, but they arrested that woman. You don't want to get into a situation where people are firing their drones because they feel like they have to take matters into their own hands. So that's observation number one. Observation number two, I'm not coming out and saying this is exactly what it is, but I would not be surprised if that particular object we saw was a UFO. Dallas is a very large city, the Metroplex. You run into a lot of people, meet a lot of different people who come from different places, and I can tell you there are several people in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex who claim to have seen UFOs with their own eyes. Not only do they claim to have seen UFOs, but there are people out there with firsthand testimonies where they have stated that they've experienced time stopping. I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but I'm telling you just from experience with being in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and working different jobs where you have to interact with people, there are people out there who absolutely believe UFOs exist, and that object is what those kind of people describe. A flying object with great flashing lights. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is. The video quality was terrible from that kind of distance, so I can't say that without a doubt that's what it is, but I would not be surprised. So, whether it's a UFO, whether it's a drone being operated by a person or technology, or there's some kind of ringleader in the background, they have to get this under control, because the longer this goes on, the bigger of a story it becomes, especially as we get ready to transition to a new administration. You're going to have a lot of turnover in all these different departments as far as who's in what seats and what their job assignments are going to be. So regardless of what it is, they need to figure it out and give the public at least some kind of explanation so you don't see videos like that.
Yeah.
Whether there's tracer rounds or not, you still don't want people firing their weapons inadvertently in the air. That's just, you wouldn't want to live in a neighborhood like that where people are just off firing their guns in the air, regardless of whether they're trying to shoot down a drone or not.
Yeah. And people can't be doing that. But and you got these neighborhoods that are in a panic, and you got some of these guys who think they can, shoot one down, and you can hurt. You could hurt or kill somebody unintentionally. Replica, I appreciate the phone call, my man. Call back again later in the show if you want to comment on more things that I'm going to show here on this live show. There is stuff happening right now. I want to show something else. Replica, I do appreciate it.
All right, I'll get off so somebody else can jump on. And
appreciate it,
going,
sir.
But
Thank you so very much. Great call. Now, remember earlier in the program, I talked about how I don't know, there was reports that a drone landed or was shot down in New Jersey yesterday. And earlier today, I don't know if it happened. I have no idea if it happened, right? But earlier today, local news in New Jersey, they were covering it like the fire and police and the hazmat units, that it actually happened, that they were actually searching for a downed drone, one of these drones. That is real. What is real is New Jersey local news were covering it like there were police, fire, hazmat units looking for something. And they had video of it. We have an update on it. Again, hold on. Wow, I've got more to show. Everybody, please be patient with me. Jeez. Now that didn't work. Why didn't that not work? Hold on. Okay, so possible drone landing in New Jersey. Police are extremely tight-lipped, referring all questions to the FBI. FBI officials say they are aware of the situation, but would not comment further. I asked one firefighter right before he left if they found anything in that wooden area behind them, and he politely said that he is not at liberty to say. I'm going to show you a minute.
To begin with breaking news, an investigation into a possible drone landing in Somerset County, New Jersey. Nick Calloway's been covering this unusual uptick in drone sightings for several weeks. He joins us live at the scene in Hillsborough Township. Nick?
Well, Cindy, police are not telling us much at the moment, but emergency officials have been here on the scene all morning searching that wooded area just behind me for something. Chopper 2 was over the scene as local firefighters, hazmat crews, and police officers have been on the scene here. They were searching that wooded marsh area near the Lowe's off Route 206 here in Hillsborough. Officials also had a drone up in the air looking for something. That after there were reports of a possible drone landing late last night. Now, there has been an enormous amount of interest in all the drone activity lately here in New Jersey. So when there were reports of a possible drone down, folks who live around here came to take a look and see what they could find out. But police are being extremely tight-lipped, referring all questions to the FBI. FBI officials say they are aware of the situation but would not comment further. A lot of the firefighters and police just left the scene within the last 20 minutes or so. I asked one firefighter right before he left if they found anything in that wooded area behind me. He politely said that he is not at liberty to say. We're live in Hillsborough Township, New Jersey. Nick Calloway, CBS News, New York.
Nick, thank you.
And I want to show another new item here. Lordy. Okay. In this is what this is another example of why people are saying, don't worry about it, it's ours. Greg, don't worry about it, it's Space Force. Greg, don't worry about it, large drones fly out. We have a commercial live drone, blah, 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 blah. We just, early in the show, Senator Jill DeBrand came on, New York. We saw a video of her saying, we don't have an idea where these are, we don't know who's controlling them. And she's very upset. Everybody is upset. So if this is us doing some sort of military exercise against us, and it's been going on for this long, and we're spending the money in New Jersey, it's outrageous. Everybody should be fired. Congressman Tom Keene. This was put out 51 minutes ago. We here in New Jersey are at our wits' end with the complete absence of answers on drone activity over our neighborhoods. The federal government should explain if these are government assets in practice or if these are truly unknown flights. Responsibly remove one from the sky for examination. Absolutely. Shoot one of these suckers down. Either option would lead us to an answer, and the public is rightfully demanding closure here. Nothing about what is occurring is acceptable. Governor Murphy and President Biden need to step up right now. And again, I've said this over and over again. I'm not being political. Governor Murphy has been all over this. He's looking for an answer. This happened in the Trump administration. This happened before Trump. Let me show you guys something else. I posted this earlier today. This was a report in 1995. 1995. This was a report on your TV screen about something that happened 30 years prior in 1965. Here we go.
Majority of UFO sightings are reported within close proximity to U.S. military.
Hold on.
Majority of UFO sightings are reported within close proximity to U.S. military installations, leading skeptics to argue that UFOs aren't extraterrestrial spacecraft, but top-secret military hardware. But what happens when a UFO is sighted near an Air Force base, and even the military admits that they don't know what it is? From Edwards Air Force Base, California, Carla Wohl reports.
Edwards Air Force Base in California's Mojave Desert is an area where people often gather to scan the skies for UFO activity. But what about the people inside Edwards? Are they seeing UFOs too? According to this historic tape, they are.
Some confirmed reports of some unidentified flying objects in your area. But it should be approximately, there was approximately 5 to 7 objects, green, red, and white flashing lights.
Green, red, and white flashing lights in 1965.
From Edwards.
And Sightings has also obtained still photographs of an Edwards Air Force Base radar screen taken on the day of the incident. They clearly show radar returns from the unidentified objects.
That's those 3 little dots out there, and I'll say that there are 3 definite objects. It is not weather, it's not clutter.
It was 1965, the Cuban Missile Crisis still fresh in everyone's mind. The military was on constant alert for foreign intruders, but the Air Force was not expecting the kind of intruders who pierced the Edwards Shield on the night of October 7th. There are those who believe these visitors came from beyond our world, not to invade, but to make contact.
This incident happened 30 years ago, and back then, these planes right here, these Blackbirds, were top secret. What's to say that this isn't what they saw that night up in the sky?
Well, because these things don't glow. They're not made to be illuminated to be spotted. They're made not to be seen.
Independent producer Sam Sherman has created a compelling audio documentary about that eerie night titled The Edwards Air Force Base Encounter. His source material was a confusing jumble of declassified Air Force tape, which covered hours of official military communication.
The tapes have finally been declassified. Why did you decide to do something with them?
I felt the public should know something about it. It's a subject that has been ridiculed for many years. I was stunned to find out that a squadron of 12 UFOs was over Edwards and that there was an alert status and that 5 other bases were involved and NORAD was involved. It shocked me.
And Sherman pointed out that one of the biggest surprises revealed in the tapes was that Air Force bases like Edwards had assigned UFO officers.
They didn't have any demon officers or leprechaun officers or angel officers for all the other paranormal subjects. They had UFO officers.
Okay, they finally gotten that UFO officer at Edwards, Lieutenant, and he said yes, he would like to have a look. We're getting plenty of live data as visuals on these things. About 40 miles south of Edwards, several of them running.
At the radar screen in the Edwards Tower that night was Air Force Tech Sergeant Chuck Sorrells. He's not spoken publicly about the incident for more than 30 years until now.
Looking back now, what do you think it was? You've had 30 years to sort of think about it and wonder.
I've thought about it on a lot of occasions. I know it was not an aircraft. I know it was not a helicopter. I know it was not a weather balloon. I know a lot of things it was not. It was not anything that we know of as a flying object that could do the maneuvers that this did. And what it was, I do not know.
Soon after Sorrell started his shift, he alerted his superiors to the mysterious objects hovering and darting about the base. Objects shown on this Air Force photograph of his radar screen. The decision was made to scramble an F-106 alert bird.
Edwards, do you still have any of these UFOs in sight? Yes. Okay, Tower, pick out one you want us to intercept, and we'll take a 0-1 in on him.
The chase was on, but the pilot faced a formidable challenge.
That thing is rising. Tower, how's things look now? He's low. Look, search high, search high. It doesn't search high. Search very high. The thing is rising. It's rising rapidly. We're at 40,000 feet. Still low. Search high.
The F-106 pilot, when he went up there, did you think he ever had a chance of catching up?
The way it rose, as fast as it went up in altitude and he passed under it at 40,000 feet, not a prayer. Not a prayer, not a chance.
Was a mismatch.
Oh, completely. There ain't no way he could have caught that thing.
After listening to the audio account of what the Air Force referred to as the incident, Washington, D.C. MUFON Director Elaine Douglas is convinced that the tapes provide solid evidence of extraterrestrial craft.
Elaine, we are sitting here in your office, surrounded by books and transcripts and videotapes of sightings. What about this particular audio recording impressed you so much?
It's real. It's live. It's the U.S. government talking about seeing UFOs, lots of them.
All right, that's enough of that. Woo! Kerry Gold knows is the start of the great deceptions. Thank you for the super chat. Kerry Gold knows, I do appreciate it. Let me get caught up. Let me get caught up on the super chats. I do apologize. Xmatox, save me, Greg. I'm in Jersey. Kerry Gold knows. Get everyone ready for a possible red flag. John Teal, that New York senator looks like Meryl Streep movie role. Where the bleep are Scully and Mulder, X-Files, and then Kerry Gold knows is the start of the Great Deception. Thank you guys for your super chat. I do appreciate it. Okay, there is more. There is more. Hang on a second. Hang on. Again, the phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. Now, this is interesting. This is interesting. What just happened here? Indiana football is the reason for these drones. College football just doesn't want to make it happen. But Indiana will win the national championship. For whatever reason, I just lost basically almost all the comments in the chat room. A whole lot of hairspray is the latest one I've got from AMAC. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comments on the screen. Every other comment has completely disappeared. I can get the live chaps up. Wow. I've never had that happen before. Never had that happen before. Anyways, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going until YouTube shuts us down. We're going to keep going. What the hell? What the hell? Peek around the country is what we're calling it tonight. Live show number 1. Okay, we got something else here. Again, Katie, I got a couple things here. Katie Corrado, from a New Jersey reporter, that claims that none of these are drones, they're just all airplanes, misidentified. I'm generally trying to understand the DHS FBI claim that there have been no reported or confirmed drone sightings in restricted airspace when I have emails from Picatinny Arsenal and Naval Weapons Station, Earl, confirming the opposite. So if you look at this, confirm means that a police officer or security guard visibly witnessed a drone while receiving a report. Unconfirmed are reports where a police officer received a call but was unable to verify the object upon arriving the scene. Confirm, unconfirmed. There's a bunch of confirms on there. This was a request, time sensitive, Pix 11 News request. So again, just more evidence that yes, there are unidentified drones flying over New Jersey, and we don't know who is controlling them. I got another item I want to show. I haven't taken a listen to this. I hope it's family I have seen many of the videos coming out of New Jersey. People are reporting strange radio noises while driving under the mysterious drones. What the bleep is going on in New Jersey? Again, not confirmed. This could be fake. Okay, could be fake. Could be fake. All right, let's get back to your comments and your phone calls. The phone lines are open. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you are thinking here. The government doesn't want to create panic. Well, that's true. That is true. It's on the news right now, cable channel. Daniel Montcastle, I think they really are from here. Whether that's from a different dimension, time, or space.
Call from
Tristan 5.
Tristan, the floor is yours.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for taking my call. So this drone story has really blown up on us here in the last few days, hasn't it?
Yeah, and we've had. That's why we're making an exception tonight. One night off of college football, peek around the country, live show number 1, because everyone's talking about it. I think it's important. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so I was talking, and believe it or not, I work from home and I talk to people at work and meetings and stuff. And I was talking to one of my friends at work today, and he was telling me that he has a friend that lives in New Jersey, and he was talking to that friend just last night, and his friend has not seen the drones, but he has one himself, and so he took his drone and charged it up fully, and then I don't know exactly the details here, but he told my friend at work that he tried to fly that drone and he was going to try and send it near a military base. And what happened was that the drone, even though we fully charged it up, it ran out of juice.
Yeah. No.
And so what I took from that is, our military takes the drone threat seriously. And I really don't think that this is a foreign country sending drones. Now, it's being hyped that way. I think there's some news reports saying that it's from Iran or something. But I just don't see that being the case because our military would do something about it if it was a threat to our own military, in my opinion.
Okay.
So
then your belief that it's ours, right?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. It could be a foreign country's. Theoretically, it could be, I suppose, but they would have to have technology beyond what we have when it comes to these drones. And, anything's possible, of course, but I don't think, Iran, I don't think is technologically advanced enough to fly drones over our military bases with us being unable to do anything about it.
Now,
that's just an opinion.
So let's work on the theory that they're ours. Why are we testing this new technology, military drones, whatever, and none of our senators know what the hell's going on? Like nobody, our governors, our senators, New Jersey is spending money. They're risking lives. They're risking property damage, trying to figure out why these are coming. Congressman Tom Keene just came out and said today, either tell us that they're ours or shoot one of these down so we can find out what the hell this is. Why is it such a... because I got to tell you, Colonel Favor, who was on that, who's the guy who saw the Tic Tac 2004, when he was asked, well, why are you so sure it's not ours? Colonel Favor, who had like 35,000 hours, one of the top jet fighters in our Navy, he said, we don't do it. We don't, when we test against each other, new technology, new radar, whatever the component is, everybody on every ship, on every plane, on every radar, everybody knows what's going on, because we don't want to risk lives. We don't want to risk injury. We don't want to risk property damage. So why, if it is ours, why doesn't anybody know what the hell? Why doesn't anybody? Why don't they tell us that? They've tested these things for weeks. These have been shown over the UK. They've been in 2019 of our Navy ships off the coast of San Diego. I think it's the best case scenario that they are ours. Best case scenario. But if they are ours, so many people need to get fired, because this is causing hysteria. This is causing mass hysteria. Go ahead, sir. But just,
that's a great question. What you're pointing out, Greg, is important, and it's a great question. But let me say this. One, it's possible, I suppose, that the drones are actually being used to track something. Perhaps there's some kind of movement on the ground taking place that they're trying to follow, perhaps. We have drone technology that can peer through bad weather, like if the drone is high up in the air and there's cloud cover or something like that. The drone still has the ability to generate a clear image of the ground and communicate that back to whoever's controlling the drone. So there's no telling. I mean, it's guesswork, right? We don't really know. Now, I will say this, though. This is a semi-related topic, and I was talking about this before when you first started talking about the drones. Have you heard about the situation going on in Canada with the threat of tariffs? Do you know what's going on with that?
The threat of terrorists?
Yeah. So what happened was President Trump was upset about or President-elect Trump, excuse me. He was upset about the lack of border security with Canada, and he threatened to impose a 25% tariff if they didn't fix it. So I think, Greg, that there's a potential security threat north of the border. That they're not giving us all the details, but that's a story that's picking up steam now. There's consternation in Canada. They're upset with President Trump for referring to Trudeau as Governor Trudeau. If you remember the comment that he made about that was in the news.
Yeah.
And what's happened now is that in Canada, this was today, they're threatening to shut off oil to the United States over these tariffs. And then the leading person, I don't know, they have a parliamentary system. I don't know who the highest ranking politician is, but the leader in Alberta was saying, we will under no circumstance cut off oil to the United States. So there's division happening now in Canada, and the root cause of this situation has something to do with security. There's border security issues with Canada. I have no idea if it's related to the drones, and I'm not even suggesting that it is, but we seem to be turning our attention north on these kinds of questions, Greg. So that's just something to keep in mind. I think the Canadian situation is very interesting and worth keeping an eye on.
All righty.
And the drone situation, though, Greg, here's one other thought. It might be to create hysteria. I mean, it's being hyped up in the news and people are concerned about it, and it might very well be that the purpose of it is to create hysteria.
Yeah, well, to what end, though? I mean,
that would be speculation.
Look, I don't blame the media on this one at all. In fact, it has been underreported about the drone going over Langley in Virginia in December of 2023. It went over our sensitive installations for weeks, and for whatever reason we couldn't get it down. We didn't do anything about it, or we could not shoot them down.
Either they couldn't do it or they wouldn't do it.
In 2019, this is why the scenario, there's a lot of logic to the scenario of the following. This is our highest technology drones, but we're not going to tell anybody about it because we are looking for a possible nuclear suitcase, and we've got intelligence to tell us it's in New Jersey, and maybe something biological or chemical. So this is a way for us to police our, a terrorist cell, or try to find something using these drones. That theory kind of works, right?
Yeah.
Except it doesn't, because because of what happened in the ocean in 2019 and 2017 and over UK, and our Navy ships couldn't do anything about these drones. So it's happened too many times over too many years. That's why I don't, in my opinion, again, I have no idea what the hell's going on. I said at the start of the show, I don't even have, the only opinion I got, the only thing I do is I kind of push back on all these theories, because to me, none of them quite make sense. But I don't have one. I don't have one. But the idea that there is a recent political situation, or that because it's the inauguration or whatever, none of it really makes sense, because it's been going on for too long. And now it's really happening, and people are finally waking up on it. Go ahead, sir. I'll let you finish.
Oh yeah, well, Greg, like I was saying before, I don't really have any solid answers. It's just an opinion that the drones are military grade. They have to be. If they're flying over our military bases, they have to have some military grade aspect to them. And so that means it's either our own military or someone else's military. I certainly hope it's not someone else's, because that would represent, some kind of superior technology.
Yeah.
But there are potentially viable explanations as to why it would be ours. And I would say also including to induce a panic. I mean, who knows? I mean, there is such a thing as a psyop in the world that we live in, and somehow this might be part of it. And I don't have any guesses beyond that.
Yeah, and I have no, I cannot settle on one opinion of what is going on.
Yeah. No, I know, because it doesn't add up. No matter what idea you come up with, you can't make it add up completely. And that's a tough situation. I mean, it's a good show. It's a good topic, Greg. So, you've been on top of it for a while, and so you're doing a good job with it. But I just want to point out to you and the other listeners that I feel like, given what's going on in the news, there's potentially a security situation going on in Canada.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it, because it started off as a joke, but it's turned into a war of words, and it was all about border security.
Yeah.
So I feel like there might be something going on up there.
Okay.
That we got to keep an eye on as well.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Greg. I'll catch up with you later.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Great call.
Bye-bye.
Great call.
Great.
There's a lot of reports coming in, but I don't want to just throw up something that's a complete sham and a joke. I don't want to, I don't want to. Yikes. Phone lines open, 763-260-1336. 763-260-1333. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We'll stay on the air as long as there's phone calls coming on in. Again, we did a one night, we took an off ramp out the college football world, peek around the corner college football to peek around the country live show number 1. We'll see what happens with YouTube. Maybe they shut me down or whatever, and if they do, I'm going to have to create a new college football YouTube channel. I know you're supposed to stay in your lane, but this is something that everyone's talking about. Hopefully it all comes out okay. Hopefully this is just us doing some, I don't know what. I think it's inexcusable at this point, but I don't know what this is. And I don't know what this is. Give us a call, 763-260-1333. I mean, there is video coming in right now from New Jersey. It hasn't stopped. There is some reports of drones, not airplanes, no flights on radar. Drones, greenish in hue, unauthorized drones flying over a VLF transmitter in Maine. That's happening right now. There is supposedly an incursion over Salem nuclear power plant. There is just a I mean, I just don't want to pop up a again, there was a report that one drone landed or fell down in the sky in New Jersey. Let's see if I can find that. Right here, I'm going to play it again.
To begin with breaking news, an investigation into a possible drone landing in Somerset County, New Jersey. Nick Calloway has been covering this unusual uptick in drone sightings for several weeks. He joins us live at the scene in Hillsborough Township. Nick?
Well, Cindy, police are not telling us much at the moment, but emergency officials have been here on the scene all morning searching that wooded area just behind me for something. Chopper 2 was over the scene as local firefighters, hazmat crews, and police officers have been on the scene here. They were searching that wooded marsh area near the Lowe's off Route 206 here in Hillsborough. Officials also had a drone up in the air looking for something. That after there were reports of a possible drone landing late last night. Now, there has been an enormous amount of interest in all the drone activity lately here in New Jersey. So when there were reports of a possible drone down, folks who live around here came to take a look and see what they could find out, but police are being extremely tight-lipped, referring all questions to the FBI. FBI officials say they are aware of the situation, but would not comment further. A lot of the firefighters and police just left the scene within the last 20 minutes or so. I asked one firefighter right before he left if they found anything in that wooded area behind me. He politely said that he is not at liberty to say. We're live in Hillsborough Township, New Jersey. Nick Calloway, CBS News, New York.
Nick, thank you.
China can't even build an aircraft carrier correctly, and China is still trying to. They still attempt to steal United States aviation engine technology. China is behind the United States in fighter jets, and so did they somehow, were they able to create a whole bunch of were they able to create a whole bunch of drones that can evade us? I don't know. I do not know. Okay, I think we're going to shut it down. We've been on the air for a little bit over 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for their great phone calls, comments in the comments section. Thank you guys so very much. Thank you, Carrie Gold Nose, Xmas Talks, Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, Ryan Thomas, John Till. Thank you guys for your generosity. I do appreciate it. So we did an off-ramp tonight. We did something that's a little different. We did a peek around the country. The drones, who is controlling them? Is it us? Is it Iran? Is it China? Is it Russia? Is it some sort of secret shadow government of the United States? Who is controlling these drones? I want to know. The country wants to know. New Jersey wants to know. Is it going to stop? Is it going to stop anytime soon? It always has in the past. There's been when it happened over Langley, it happened for a few weeks and it stopped. When it happened over our naval ships in 2019, it happened for a few weeks and then it stopped. And it's happened over the UK about a few weeks ago, and suddenly it's at least slowed down, if not entirely stopped. So, when it stops over New Jersey, are we going to stop talking about it? Stop worrying about it? Is it us? Is it them? Whoever them is. I want to thank you guys so much. And tomorrow we're going to be going back to college football unless there's breaking news about the drone story. But I do want to thank you guys for letting me do an emergency PATC meeting. Drones. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, smash the like button if you've liked our content, and share the video with your family and friends. If you did not like this content tonight, and some of you probably did not, hit the thumbs down button. Let me know. Hit the thumbs down button. I'm paying attention. Until next time, from all of us at College Footballs, peek around the corner to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other and make sure you are looking up. Thank you.